Where is Vladimir Putin heading to? The Russian election results are in, and it's no surprise that President Vladimir Putin has won his fifth term office. After a three-day election, Putin won by a huge margin of 87%, according to the exit polls. Now, since anti-war candidates were not allowed to run, there was not anyone who seriously challenged Putin. It's clear that Putin will stay in power until 2030 with another 6-year term. What happens next is worrying. This was an unfair election. In simple words, Putin's aggressive act to come to superpower. During the voting, there was small act of defiance by many people, following a call from the opposition leader Alexei Navalny's widow, Yulia Navalny, came out to vote at noon in Russia and in Russian embassies abroad to show their disagreement with Putin and the war. The Kremlin did not want this to happen also. The long lines in Russia is a big deal because of strict Russia's government. On the last day of voting, you can see 80 protesters were arrested. Also, in February, the Russian government punished the people who were mourning for Navalny. Putin faced 3 opponents in the election, but he did not mind because it was obvious he would win. Voting also happened in the parts of Ukraine controlled by Russia, but not completely. It said that election workers brought ballot boxes to the people's home with soldiers and made them vote. In these areas, Putin won a big margin than in Russia itself. What makes the vote so crucial for Putin? Putin was advised, just winning is not enough for you. You need to win in a way that shows you are still the boss of Russia's politics. And so this vote was very important for Putin. This is going to give him the chance to lead Russia until 2030 as a president, which makes people trust him more. As this election has come right after Russia went into Ukraine, Kremlin will claim that the most people still support Putin even though the war has caused problem and the West has put sanctions on Russia, hurting its economy. So what implications does the victory hold for the war? Putin is going to view his victory in Russia's election as a signal to continue with the war in Ukraine. He has already shown his strength by warning the West about the possibility of the direct conflict between Russia and the US-led NATO military alliance, saying it could lead to the Third World War. He has also mentioned that hardly anyone wants such a situation. Putin has promised to make Russia's armed forces stronger and focus on what he calls Russia's special military operation in Ukraine. His victory is going to justify the decision to go to war in Ukraine. Now there is a speculation that he might order a second military mobilization to fight in Ukraine because the first mobilization happened in September 2022, which led to protest and dissatisfaction among the Russians because it could be an unpopular move, but it might reassure the families of soldiers who were drafted 18 months ago. Russian leaders are discussing the idea of bringing all Russian society together to focus on defenses. This shows that they know the war Putin talks about could go on for a long time, and so they need to gather the resources for it. In simple words and in simple terms to say, Russia's society needs to be ready for a long period of war at any time. So what is the impact does Putin's sixth term is going to happen on the world? The president still has a firm hold on Russia. He has quietened down the opposition and Russia's economy has managed to survive the sanctions. Recent advances on the battlefield suggest that Putin's side is doing well. In the US, which provides the most support to Ukraine's military, there are signs that people are becoming weary. Russia is also getting closer to its allies, particularly China. Now, it's evident that relations between China and Russia might grow even more stronger in the future. As there's a tension between the US and China's escalation, Xi Jinping views Putin as a crucial ally. China's neutrality regarding Russia's invasion of Ukraine enables China to concentrate on others' priority, such as addressing matters concerning Taiwan and the South China Sea. But however, China is not the sole leader strengthening the ties with Putin. North Korea's Kim Jong is also cultivating a closer relationship with him, as evidenced by Kim's recent visit to China. Now, amid increasing coordination between the US and South Korea, Kim is reportedly supplying weapons to Moscow. But India has chosen to stay neutral in the war. While it's strengthening ties with the US, it has not pushed away Russia and still buys oil from them at the lower prices. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has spoken highly of Putin. While the West sees Putin as a villain, not everyone agrees, especially in countries with developing economy. Some countries stay neutral for economic reasons, while others like the idea of a new world order where the US does not dominate.